Wednesday. It's another glorious day. And we've just come into a bay just before Ramsey Sound, and we can, and just behind Ian there is Ramsey Island, and there's a tide race between Ramsey Island and this headland, which is called Ramsey Sound. And we're waiting for the tide to be just right to go through there. Negotiating the tidal race in Ramsey Sound. And on a lovely day like today, it's not too evil looking. But we've chosen our time to come through. And at the moment we're just trying to avoid a rock in mid-channel, which is threatening to be just under the waterline.
This is my intrepid skipper navigating the Ramsey Sound between St David's, Pembrokeshire coast and Ramsey Island, renowned for its wildlife, bird life.
Wild seas.
Wild seas. We've just negotiated the races. In the background you can see Skomer Island, which is a wonderful place this time of year for puffins, razorbills and shearwaters. It's the Pembrokeshire coastal path, meanders along that line of cliffs there, and the St David's lifeboat station, I think St Justinian, campsite on the hills above. And here we have St David's Head, the north end of Ramsey Sound, and back onto the island.
Here we are clearing the seaward side of Ramsey Island because it's very, very fine conditions. This is the bishop and his clerks. This is an area of very gruffy water. If you're here on anything but a fine day like today, this is not a place where you'd be sailing. We're going to have a look in this little bay while we're going round this side of Ramsey Island, since we'll probably never be here again. Going around the seaward side of Ramsey Island, which is not a place to be in bad weather. As you can see, this is a very, very fine, calm day, and it's still rough around here. And that's the southerly tip of Ramsey Island on there on the skyline. And we give that a good berth, and once we're past there, we turn in back over St Bride's Bay to the distant Skomer. Here we are on the north side of Skomer. We're just approaching the north side of Jack Sound. And we'll see what the state of the tide is, but we may go through a bit early if it's looking good. Just had a very long beat against a strong tide to get back from the other side of Skomer. We got our navigation a little bit wrong. So here we are after our nighted anchor to the north of Skomer Island, and we've got ourselves up for 4 in the morning to get through the Jack Sound tidal race while the tide was right. We've been going for about an hour now, and it's a beautiful sunrise, and we're headed over there to that headland where the light is flashing, which is St Land's Head, right on the entrance to Milford Haven. Right the way up the haven, and it was surprisingly rough. We went into Angle Bay and found some shallows and some shelter and had a bacon sandwich, and we then decided we'd go to Milford Marina and later Tesco for some shopping and generally have a lazy day of doing nothing.
This is the River Cleddeau at Milford Haven, looking upriver. Across the river is one of the oil refineries, and behind that ship there is Angle Bay, where we had bacon butty breakfast this morning before entering the lock here to go into Milford Marina. I think that's the skipper checking the mooring ropes.
Scandinavia across the United Kingdom will retreat during Friday as Sundry troughs extend northwards across England and Wales, and a frontal system pushes west across the North Sea into Scotland. The forecast now for the area from Land's End to St David's Head, including the Bristol Channel. Firstly, the 24-hour forecast: wind variable, force 3 or 4, sea slight, occasionally smooth in the east, thundery showers at first, and visibility moderate or good, occasionally poor. The outlook for the following 24 hours: variable, force 3, sea state slight in the west, smooth in the east, mainly fair weather, visibility moderate.
We amble up under the Cleddeau Bridge. Once past Pembroke Dock and the ferry port, there's not really a great deal of commercial traffic this far up. Just as it was time to come back downriver, it was beginning to brighten up. We'd go back down to the Dale pontoon, because we planned an early start back up to Tenby and Oxbridge Bay for an anchorage overnight. Encountering our first Stena Line ferry, and we just kept well out of her way because she moves rather fast. It was a pleasant day up the river despite the weather. As we drift down now with the tide, it's brightening up. You can see Dell way into the distance there, past the big ships. And we'll go on the free pontoon for a lazy afternoon and an early start to Tenby.